to both of his MVP seasons. The Bucks record doesn't, and these two dudes are clearly like it's a 2-horse race.
It is a 2-horse race. They were the only two players to be on every ballot, and they had there was only one third place vote between the two of them, and they swept the rest of the first and second place votes. It's the most dominant top two I've ever seen in any of these polls over the past several years that I've done.
So basically, since you love these, it's not just you. It's all of ESPN loves tiers. Our editors love tiers. So these two guys would be in tier 1.
Correct.
Giannis would be in tier 2 by himself. Or no, I guess he would be with Tatum.
I would say he and Tatum are in tier 2 together because
I can't get him close then.
Well, I think Giannis will finish third pretty clearly if he's eligible. But if Tatum, I think, will be the next guy. And then there's a pretty clear tier after that with Mitchell and the Knicks guys.
Okay.
You got any predictions before we unveil this on how it went?
Well, I will say how I voted.
Yeah, go ahead. You guys should both say first.
I voted for Jokic in the first poll and felt pretty strongly about where he was. And he has done nothing to hurt his case in that time.
You voted and stopped huffing and puffing.
That's the freaking pod, buddy. Huffing and puffing is the name of the game. If we didn't huff and puff, we would be done. But Shai has been so impressive and the Thunder so dominant that it is really the classic case for MVP. And so with nothing against Jokic, I did vote for Shai for first in this.
Yeah, and so did I. And look, say what you want. If it's even, I'm going with the guy who hadn't won it yet and the guy whose team is by far, the best team in the Western Conference. I haven't checked today. Are they the best team in the league record-wise? Yes, they are by a half.
They are because they scored the first 24 points of the fourth quarter Wednesday night and came back and beat Miami after being down the entire game. Just a devastating defensive performance.
And it's like we talked going into the season about the standard being so high for Joker to be a 4-time MVP in a 5-year span and the historical implications of that. And I don't think that he's clearly a better player than Shai. And I think there's a strong argument, or clearly having a better season than Shai. And I think there's a strong argument to be made that Shai Gilgeous Alexander, in terms of impact, has been having or is having the best season in the league. And I mean, Joker's insane. The guy, last I checked, he has more triple doubles through 3 quarters of games than any other team has, period. He's having an absolutely bonkers season, but so is Shai. And I'm doing math here, which thank goodness things have calculators. So get this. I would say the 2 most important stats in basketball are very basic: points and plus minus. You have to score points to win games.
I'm not sure everybody would agree with that, but I'll let you keep cooking.
Plus minus is what's the score? The score is the most important stat.
Right, but there's a lot of things that go into plus minus.
Just let him huff and puff, all right? He's huffing and puffing. Let him make his point.
And half of the scoreboard are the points that you score. Shai has a 233 point.
Not always. What you're hoping for is a lot more than half is your score.
This is quite the point.
One side.
Just finish your point. Finish your point, buddy.
Shai has a 233 point advantage in plus minus this year. He is plus 704. Okay.
Wow.
Joker's plus 471. They're 1, 2, and plus minus. Well, I don't know. It's a decent stat to indicate impact if they're 1, 2.
You're right. That was. I want to take it back.
Okay. So
I liked that. I don't know if I think it's the second most important stat, but that was a good piece.
It's the most important because the scoreboard is the most important stat.
Right, but plus minus is highly circumstantial. Anyway,
this is like the ever shifting cojones factor, the cojones factor criterion month to month.
Your inability to understand cojones is the least surprising thing in the world. Okay,
I understand it. I just ask you what the criteria is, and every month it changes.
You're not even sure what region they're located on.
Okay, settle down.
Okay, now Now, I can be petty with you. I'm allowed.
Someday people will hear the end of the poll, but continue.
Well, I'm just going to get the raw points scored. So he's got a 3-point advantage in plus minus and a 236-point advantage in points scored. He's got 1,696 points. We're not to the All-Star break. And Anthony Edwards.
I'm glad we're just citing raw numbers that nobody has any context for of any kind whatsoever.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Numbers.
If you have a 200+ point cushion in both of those stats,
McMahon, Shai is great. I'm just giving
value. And if you're a significant contributor to the number one defense in the league, and you're averaging whatever the hell he's averaging in rebounds and assist, he's one of the best defensive playmakers in the league. Like, and your team has the best record. I mean, it's a pretty comprehensive most valuable player case.
Well, it's pretty simple for both guys.
Hey, Jackson, you better comprehensive. But get that thing up on the board, baby.
There you go. We're the vocab lessons are working. I mean, the case for each guy is very simple. Jokic is the first non-center to average a triple-double for a season as of now. His numbers across the board are completely bonkers. Shooting 57% from the field, 45% from three, 29, I think 12 and 10. Just crazy numbers. Shai would become the, I believe, sixth player in NBA history as of now to average 35-5, a steal, and a block a game. The other guys are Jordan, LeBron, Embiid, Giannis, and Wade. It's a pretty good list also. So, the numbers on both sides are crazy. Now, for the actual results, in second place with 30 first place votes, 69 second place votes, and 1 third place vote, 788 total points, is Nikola Jokic, who's now in second. He was in first in the first
30 poll. Only 30 first place votes. I'm
going to get to that in a second. So, obviously, then Shai is left in first, 70 first place votes, 30 second place votes, 910 total points.
Oh, number 1 or 2 on every ballot.
So what is the separation in points?
122. Now, a couple things. Well, so here's the thing. We're talking about a totally binary race now, right? These two guys are 1 and 2. Nobody else is getting first place votes. Hardly anybody else is going to get a second place vote. It's going to be, we're back in the same, it's maybe not going to have quite the same venom, but it's going to be the same thing as Giannis and Harden, Jokic and Embiid, etc., the rest of the season. Now, in the 2 weeks leading up to this vote, because the context of these things always matters, right? What's happening? Last time, as you mentioned it, McMahon, we did this right around the NBA Cup final. Giannis beat Shai in the NBA Cup final, probably the worst game the Thunder played all season. Shai lost some ground there. Right, worst game he played. Shai lost ground there. Giannis gained ground there. Jokic was in first. What's happened over the last couple of weeks? Shai has just happened to have the first 3 50-point games of his career in the last 2 weeks, as the Thunder have been rocketing out to this huge lead in the West, right? So the context of the moment.
Thundering out to a huge lead. The Rockets.
There you go. That's right. That's a good line by you. So the Thunder have obviously, but between their play and Shai's individual play, I'm not surprised that he is winning. And I think to your point, McMahon, I don't think you're alone in, if it's a tie, you're going to go to the guy who hasn't won and a guy who, hasn't won 3 of the last 4. So I think that also is working in Shai's favor too. I'm also going to say though, Denver's now 36-19.
They're good.
They are a half game behind the Memphis Grizzlies in second place in the West. They've won 8 games in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
They're the biggest threat to the Thunder in the West, I think.
No question. Jamal Murray's back to being Jamal Murray again. He had 55 yesterday. He's cooking again. Jokic is putting up triple doubles.
Anybody in question giving Jamal Murray a max is a buffoon.
Well, it's good to see him back playing like a max player again. But all I'm saying is, you look at 70-30 in the first place vote column, and you think, oh, man, this race is over. Shai's going to win. I think it's very possible Shai wins. It won't surprise me at all when I do this in a couple months for the end of the season, if he's in first place. I would just say, I think this thing is wide open, and I think that if the Nuggets keep playing the way they've been playing over the last few weeks, and Jokic keeps putting up huge numbers, and they're clearly the second best team in the West after the awful start they had, and Jamal playing terribly early in the year, and everything that's gone on, then I think this thing is going to come right down to it at the end, because Jokic's numbers, like his numbers across the board, are completely berserk. And if you start putting resume against resume, it's going to be very hard to choose, and it's going to come right down to the end of the season, I think.
Well, and can we please just have a deal where we talk about the qualifications of two incredible candidates and not try to poke holes in either? Because, dude,
That
these
would be
guys,
great.
like these guys are both having historically awesome seasons. You don't have to knock Joker to say, I think Shai's the most valuable player in the league.
Correct.
You don't have to knock Shai to say, hey, Joker won 3 out of 4 for a reason, and he's having maybe his best season yet. They're both amazing players. They're both having amazing seasons. So for the first time in a long time, let's have a toxic-free MVP discussion down the stretch.
What other pie in the sky requests do you have?
I think we can do this.
So I would just say that I am routinely surprised at the lack of respect that's given to the Thunder. I'm not sure if it's because this the nature of their team. They're kind of a little hokey as a team. They're in a small market.
And the group interview stuff, the Draymond.
They haven't done it yet. It's the same as the Celtics. The Celtics were poked in similar ways, and then the Celtics won last year.
Right. No, I understand. I'm just saying, like
Bontemps that said Joker was a fraud until the Nuggets won their title. These things happen. Like, it's the truth.
So I will say that because of that, which I feel like I'm not even like somebody who's like, oh yeah, they're going to win the whole thing. I'm not even like super hugely pro Thunder. Like, I think it's still wide open among several teams, but I feel like I'm almost daily defending the Thunder on TV because I'm listening to my colleagues like just, pencil the other teams in ahead of them. And I'm just like, guys, they're 44-9. They've got 36 wins by 10 points.
They have a point differential of plus 13.5, which would break the record by over a full point. Like, we can't crown them yet. They've got to make the run. They've got to earn their parade right around that Bricktown Canal. Tipsy Tiki's a nice spot on that canal. But
if the Thunder make the finals, are we going to hear more promo for the Tipsy Tiki or the Wonder Boy?
Available for pre-order. Luka Doncic,
the bar
this year,
for sure.
Only because of I think if you bring the Wonder Boy too, we'll be hanging at the Goat a lot too. It's opening up. If you bring the Wonder Boy, I will sign it.
It'll be the bar, Brian, because the book will have been out for 2 months, and McMahon will be looking for as much free alcohol as he can get. So it will be the bar for sure.
Listen, calm down on all that. I like they serve cold milk there too. I know that because I brought Royce Young there once when it was the 10th pick. You made me lose my train of thought. Oh, but
what a shock.
To act like the Thunder aren't absolutely a championship caliber team. You're not basing that on any kind of
I agree. I'm just saying if it's close, I wonder how that will affect the voting.
Well, I'm just saying people will probably see this and see 70-30 and just go, Shai's probably going to win. And I would say that it's a lot closer than 70-30, because the thing people don't think about with this stuff is, like, if it's really close, like it is with this, it only takes a few people to flip their vote, and all of a sudden you're in a dead heat. And Shai's coming off an incredible couple of weeks. And I think Denver, I think if you ask the average NBA fan or the average NBA watcher, where's Denver in the standings? They're going to say, they're like 5th or 6th. Like, I don't think people are looking at them as being the number 2 team in the West after how chaotic the beginning of their season was. And, well, I know they are 3rd right now. I'm saying the fact that they're in a neck and neck race for 2nd is not where we thought they were going to be at any point. And if they end up 1-2 in the West, like, a big part, I think, of Shai's argument is that he is the best player on what clearly has been the best team. But if Jokic has got Denver up to 2nd, then, that's going to be a big feather in his cap down the stretch.
And a big part of Joker's argument has always been the net rating swing, right? Because the Nuggets, again, are awesome with him on the floor and awful with him off the floor. Plus 12.3 net rating on, minus 8.5 off. You add that up, it is, wait,
A 20-point swing.
minus
20-point swing.
8.2. My bad, minus 8.2. So it's a 20.5 swing. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are awesomest, if that's a word, with Shai on the floor, and okay with him out. 19.1 is his net rating, plus 0.6 when he sits. So, they're still a little bit of head above water. But that's an 18.5 point net rating swing. So, I mean, basically the net rating swings are also neck and neck. And again, that's always been, not that Joker doesn't put up all kinds of insane numbers, and you can also do things like turn on the television and watch them play as long as you're not in the Denver area or like the surrounding 6 states. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, the net rating swing.
You say the surrounding 6 states is a joke with me, but that ain't too far off.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, how about them finally getting altitude on the broadcast channels there after it only took
they
5
did?
years to get it done? Yeah.
Wow.
They just announced that the other day.
I was not aware of that development. That's nice. You have like a historically elite player, and people who live there can actually watch the man.
There's people like in Golden and like, Boulder who are like completely.
Who is this guy?
Number 15.
Who is this guy, Jokic?
Amazing.
You mean Carmelo?
Do you have in front of you, Bontemps, who was the leading in the poll a year ago and at the break?
It was Jokic, Shai, Giannis, Luka, 1, 2, 3, 4 last year.
So it ended up being Jokic Shai.
That one, it felt like Jokic basically had it locked up, even though it was a similar gap, but it didn't.
Well,
there was much more of a debate about
the
whether
Nuggets
Shai
were a terror throughout last season.
Well, and the debate was about whether Shai or Luka or Giannis should be second or third or fourth, rather than anybody really challenging Jokic for first after Embiid got hurt. Because Embiid had led the first one, then he got hurt, then he was off the ballot, then Jokic was sitting there, and he was obviously the guy. This year, to me, this debate is going to very clearly go right down to the end of the season. And, assuming both those guys are healthy, knock on wood, and they both have a very long track record of being very healthy. So hopefully they stay that way. And I think, don't bother putting bets on Giannis or Tatum or anybody else. There's nobody else who's going to win. It's going to be one of these two guys. And I think we're going to be, I certainly hope it's not going to be a toxic debate. I think the fact that they don't play the same position will help with it not being as a toxic of a debate. And the fact that there's not like even battles over all NBA anymore, like there was with that other one with Embiid and Jokic. But
also,
I think
a lot of Oklahoma doesn't have the internet, so that'll help.
Well, let's not make it toxic, again. And then let's do that. But I do think this is going to be a fascinating one.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Hiện tại mình là nhà sáng tạo nội dung về mảng video cắt dán trên nền tảng YouTube. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ chia sẻ cho các bạn cách tạo ra video cắt dán của mình. Đây là những sản phẩm của mình tạo ra này. Trước tiên để tạo ra được những sản phẩm cắt dán tuyệt vời, mình sẽ cần những dụng cụ như sau. Đây là giấy thủ công này. Đấy. Rất nhiều màu sắc nha các bạn ạ. Đây là màu cam này, đây là màu xanh này. Mình đã chuẩn bị rất nhiều màu này. Còn cả màu đỏ. Đấy. Và còn rất nhiều những dụng cụ như đây là hồ dán. Đây, các bạn ạ, hồ dán thì mình dán những chi tiết của sản phẩm vào này. Đấy. Và để dán được cắt được cái sản phẩm đẹp như thế này thì mình cần đến một chiếc kéo. Đây là chiếc kéo của mình này. Đấy. Để tạo hình được những hình này thì mình lại cần một cây bút dạ. Đây là cây bút dạ của mình này. Đấy. Đây, những sản phẩm của mình tạo ra mình vẫn còn lưu giữ tại nơi làm việc đây này. Đây chiếc máy chơi game của mình như này. Đấy, chiếc cặp đây các bạn này. Mình đã tạo bao la rất nhiều sản phẩm rồi. Và quá trình mình tạo ra sản phẩm này không thể thiếu được một dụng cụ nữa là đây là chiếc chân kẹp điện thoại. Đây là chiếc điện thoại để mình quay lại quá trình mình tạo ra sản phẩm này. Đây, đèn hỗ trợ ánh sáng của mình. Đấy. Rất nhiều sản phẩm thì nhiều lắm, bao la, mình nói ngày mai cũng hết được. Đây là nút bạc mình đã đạt được đây này các bạn ạ. Nút bạc của mình sẽ giới thiệu một chút về sản phẩm của mình. Đây là sản phẩm ngôi sao nha. Này, ví dụ đây là sản phẩm ngôi sao. Và để tạo ra sản phẩm này thì mình lại cần một giấy thủ công màu, đây giấy thủ công màu đỏ và giấy thủ công màu xanh đi. Đấy, đây là mình đang ví dụ cho các bạn thấy nhá. Đây là chiếc tủ lạnh đây. Để tạo được cái này thì mình sẽ cần đến giấy màu vàng. Đấy, mà tạo được thành cái này thì mình sẽ cần bút dạ để vẽ trước sản phẩm. Xong đấy mình sẽ dùng kéo để cắt. Đấy. Rồi mình sẽ dùng bút dạ tiếp tục để thêm vài chi tiết cho sản phẩm. Đẹp ngay, quá tuyệt vời luôn. Đây mình sẽ đây quả chuối này. Đó lại mình làm rất nhiều sản phẩm này, đồ vật này, con vật này, động vật này, đồ vật, con vật, động vật, đồ gia dụng này. Đấy, còn nhiều lắm, rất nhiều sản phẩm. Đấy, cái chảo này, đấy, các bạn thấy cái chảo này có đẹp, có giống không? Cái chảo này giấy màu vàng này, con cá này, sản phẩm mình rất nhiều này. Đấy, sau khi làm xong sản phẩm này mình sẽ tải video lên máy tính để cắt dán, để cắt ghép những video cho nó hoàn chỉnh hơn. Đấy, như vậy là mình đã hoàn thành được một video. Mình sẽ đăng lên kênh của mình để cho các bạn cùng xem. Và bây giờ mình sẽ đi thực hiện cái sản phẩm đó cho các bạn xem nha.
Bây giờ mình chi tiêu cái dán nha các bạn ơi. Bây giờ mình chi nha các bạn. In ngôi nhà. Chẳng biết là 5 triệu chưa đỉnh ơi.
Không quay xuống ghi tên sản phẩm đâu.
Ghi tên nó vào. Mày ghi tên gì? Mày làm cái gì thì mày ghi tên cái đấy.
Có phải đọc không?
Khờ. Bye bye các bạn. Bây giờ mình sẽ in nhé. Mình sẽ cắt nha các bạn. Thằng Long nó gọi anh nghe sợ.
Quay cái video nào chưa?
Một cái rồi đấy.
Anh Công nó quay như nào?
Rồi,
Nó quay như nào?
nó có nói đâu, nó quay rồi.
Thì cái đoạn cuối là Công.
Có nó viết tên mặt sau đó.
Tên nó không gửi lên này không?
Cũng.
Rồi mới tắt video rồi. Thế là gửi lên cái này xong tắt video. Cái tên xong gửi lên.
Tôi có.
Ở đây Công bảo nói nhá.
Làm quả chuối đây.
Em cũng xuống
Nó làm nào làm nó viết đúng là được. Phải có cái gì nào. Cái này còn nhà nó rồi kia ở đó. Rồi bye bye các nhà anh kỹ rồi. Nốt. Rồi mẹ làm cả chủ nhật. Ghét quá. Ở nhà là 26 à? Ôi nhanh nhỉ. Mày đã đuổi điếc rồi.
Công tháng này ứng lương chưa?
Rồi.
Tháng này ứng lương chưa?
Chưa.
Tháng này nhiều tiền lắm.
Đấy.
Tháng nhiều tiền lắm.
Đã ứng được lần nào đâu. Mai hôm qua đi gặp công an. Ở trên phủ lỗ. Chục thằng ghét quá. Mẹ không bị bắt. Rồi đi chơi bia về. Sau nó đứng ở chỗ cái đường. Qua đường cái đường tàu. Nó đứng ở tít dưới. Một anh đi vào rồi xong ở trên đầu kia nó thò ra xong mà ở dưới lại có. Nhưng mà lúc đấy có ô tô rồi đi vượt qua ô tô. Và sao chử ở đây chịu ở đây đi phố lỗi chịu. Sao lại đi về được bên Long Anh xa tao lò. Em rủ đi chơi bia. Tí mất nghe mấy tỏi á. Mất nghe tên. Mẹ bắn vai bắn gần hết nữa, gần tháng lương mất. À đâu, 1 ngày lương gần 200.000. Đấy. Bắn tóc 2 tiếng. Trên đấy đã thi. Nó không như mình ở mình chả bèo có 40 một tiếng. Ở trên đấy chả biết chắc 7-80 một tiếng. Ảo đó đấy. Hơi bị sót đấy, gần 185.000. Tính sơ sơ nè. Chả biết được 180. Bản độc tí. Vì mình sẽ dán các bạn ơi. Bây giờ mình chỉ viết cho nó đẹp hơn. Thế thằng này nó ngẩy mà không ra đi nè. Bây giờ mình sẽ in nha các bạn.